Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and we got a pretty big notice last night that the Star Creator Club is no longer going to be receiving the APK. So it says here, end of Star Creator Club benefit, experience the update ahead event notice. Greetings, agents. After the January update, so after this next update that we still don't know what it is because we still haven't seen a sneak peek, but after this next update in January where there will be an APK for the Star Agents, which I did not apply for, the Star Creators, which I did not apply for, we will be putting an end to the Star Creator Club. Experience the update ahead event. So this is a bit oddly worded. They're not ending the Star Creator Club. They're just ending the APK process. So they're not going to be handing out the APK to Star Agents anymore after the January update, at least for the time being. We sincerely thank all of the Star creators and agents who have continued to participate and show interest in the event so far, the event being the APK, and we will return with other various events for our Star creators. So that's kind of a nice thing to say. I don't know what they mean by that. There has never been any other event for Star creators besides the APK. Now, in other games, there are other events for the Star creators. For King of Fighters, I believe you had an event where you would post a video as a Star creator about the update, and then you would get some crystals or some diamond rubies as a reward. And then in 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, they recently had a hugely successful tournament where, you know, tens of thousands of people viewed watched the tournaments live as they were happening, with really big YouTubers like Nagato, Seaton, Kabuki, etc. Participating. It's a huge event. But we've never had anything like that in MFF. We've never had any kind of event for the game. And MCOC, they do a content creator program as well, the CCP, that does not involve anything, I think, besides a sneak peek look at the characters, sort of like this APK thing. Contest of Champions has their Summoner Showdown, but that's separate from the content creator program. Although the APK event will end after the January update, we will continue to fully support our Star Creator Club. So please keep your eyes on our Star Creators. Thank you. So what this means, I think, I don't want to speak on behalf of MFF, but what I think this means is that they're still going to call the Star Creators. By the way, the Star Creators are down here. This was the notice just 4 days ago where they announced the participants that would be receiving the APK. I'm not on this list because I purposely didn't apply. I believe, as I understand it, all of these channels are still going to be Star Creators. And I assume, because it doesn't say anything, that they are still going to receive 5,000 crystals per month. They're just not going to get the APK. What is really the point of the Star Creator Club if there's no APK? I don't know. That's not really my place to decide or to sort of make that decision. But yeah. Now, I know right away some people, and you can go in the comments and you can see the reaction. Some people are going to look at this and say, wow, the game is dying. They're shutting this down. They're going to shut down the game. And that's a natural reaction for some people to have, because they're closing the event. They're ending something that's been in the game for over a year, I believe. I honestly can't remember when the first APK was. I feel like it was late 2018. So I feel like it's been, or late 2019. So I feel like it's been about a year, maybe 13, 14 months. Honestly, I can't remember, though. I probably should have looked it up before this video. It's not really that important, but the APK program hasn't been around for that long, but it's been around long enough that it feels like it's a normal part of the game. However, it's not, because it's not in the game anymore. I'm just trying to think as I'm talking. I'm pretty sure... Did we have an APK for House of X? I don't even know if we did. I'm like spacing out right now. Maybe it's not even a year old. Maybe it hasn't even been a year. Anyways, listen, it's not this has nothing to do with the game ending. This is just something that wasn't panning out for Marvel Future Fight that they don't want to do anymore. Now, people are going to speculate about what this means and why they're doing this. I have two basic theories on why they are ending the APK program. One, the APK program was basically just an advertising platform, and a lot of games do this, but especially a game like Marvel Future Fight. If you look at the turnaround time, right? They release the live stream. They do the live stream with Cage and Kim on Fridays or Thursdays, and then 1 day later they give Star Agents the APK, and then 4 days later we get the patch notes, and then 1 day after the patch notes, or 5 days after the APK, I believe it is, we get the update. That's a really, really, really short turnaround time. There's almost no way for them to actually make changes, meaningful changes to the APK from when it lands as an APK to the live version. They have 5 days, 4 or 5 days, right? With everything, how everything shakes out. So it was more of an advertising vehicle for the game than anything else. We sort of knew that going into it. They wanted to, I'm guessing they MFF wanted to attract other content creators, especially content creators that didn't play MFF as their main game. Because if you look at it from that perspective, hey, I'm a channel with 50,000 subscribers. I play, Dokkan Battle, whatever. I play Dragon Ball Legends. I can start up an MFF account. I can be free to play, but I can get 5,000 crystals a month from Marvel Future Fight for being in the Star Creator Club, and I can just make, what was the requirements? 4 videos a month. That's 1 video a week. That's nothing for a YouTuber. That's their full-time job. That's nothing, right? You could make those 4 videos on 4 different characters or uniforms from the APK, and then you're done, and then you never talk about it again. It's super easy, and you get basically 5,000 crystals, which is equivalent to about $50. And especially for people who live in countries where the conversion and the currency exchange is really expensive, that $50 for me or for someone in the US could be a lot closer to $100, maybe even $150 for them. So it could be a pretty decent incentive. However, let's be honest, the Star Creator Club did not attract any large YouTube channels from any other game, right? So for example, I applied for the Star Creator Club for 7 Deadly Sins, even though my main game is MFF, because I was having a really good time in 7 Deadly Sins, and they were going to give me 100 diamonds a month. Now, I don't know exactly how much that equates to, how much money that equates to. It might be similar, it might be around $50, something like that, but you sort of get the point. But that didn't really happen for MFF. So I think for their sake, they have enough data to see that the APK wasn't really attracting the kind of advertising that they wanted. And so they probably didn't think that it was worth whatever, whoever it was that was dealing with it on top of their other duties, right? It's not like they hired someone just to be the APK guy, right? So it was obviously just piled on someone's duties. You guys know how it is. You have a job. When your boss wants to start some new initiative, some new event, some new whatever, they just throw those responsibilities, they add them, they tack them on, and they don't pay you extra, right? There's nothing. So my guess is, the numbers weren't there. They weren't really getting the advertising backing that they wanted in return for the effort, for the investment of doing this. The crystals don't matter, by the way. For those of you that are wondering, they're going to save the 5,000 crystals. The crystals are meaningless. It's just numbers that they punch in, and it's not like they're looking at it and saying, well, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're still going to give all the Star creators the crystals. But even if they weren't, I don't think that they would stop the program because they wanted to save the crystals. I don't think they're thinking that all of these players would spend $50 a month or whatever to recoup those crystals if they didn't have them, right? I don't think that's the case. So yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with the Star creators. I think it mainly has to do with the fact that the APK program and the event didn't really generate as much outside interest from content creators as they would have hoped. The second theory I have is that it wasn't worth the effort given the amount of negative feedback and sort of negative community sentiment that the APK was generating. You can look at the boycott and say that. You can look at the House of X update and say that. You can look at other things as well. Like, for example, a lot of times the APKs would get data mined. And so anything that they were trying to hide in there from us, like uniforms that weren't to be released yet or upcoming token events, all of that would get leaked. And so it just really doesn't create the ideal environment. People work hard on this game. They want things to be released in a certain schedule because it builds a certain amount of excitement and anticipation from the fans. If you know everything that's coming ahead of time, it's not as fun. And I might sound like a hypocrite saying that because I make the leak videos, but I'm in an awkward situation. On the one hand, I don't want to know about these leaks, but on the other hand, I have a bit of a responsibility to show you the leaks and talk about them and give you the information ahead of time because of the channel, right? So if in a perfect world, I just wouldn't want to hear about the leaks and I could just go about my business, but it is what it is. And a good example of that is in 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, another game that I play. I mentioned it already in the video. The JP server is ahead of the global server, so we already know a lot of the units that are coming, and it does kind of suck some of the fun and some of the surprise out of it. So I can also see that as a reason for why they didn't want to do the APK anymore. It was generating a lot of negative sentiment in the community. Certain things in the APK were being blown out of proportion, or the reaction just was too negative before players, the majority of players, right? The APK membership is small compared to the larger player base. Before the larger player base, the majority of the player base had a chance to actually get their hands on these things, the players were making decisions, right? Maybe they thought that the APK was negatively influencing consumer spending because players just had too much information about these characters before they were even released. So, you know, who knows, right? I don't know. But if the APK program is costing them money as a business, it's not worth it for them to continue it. It was nice to see what was coming in the APK, and when I was a part of it, it can be kind of fun. But to be honest with you, it's also kind of a hassle because the accounts were, especially lately in the last 2 APKs, the accounts were stacked with crafted cards that you had to unequip and find other cards and re-equip them. It was like super annoying and it was tedious. And then all of the characters had Odin's Blessings auto-equipped on all of the slots, so you had to unequip all the Odin's Blessings and equip regular obelisk or Uru and obelisks instead of CTPs. So, you know, there weren't it wasn't all peachy stuff. It wasn't all peachy keen from the APK, from the perspective of the star creators in the APK. And so, yeah, that's what I think it really comes down to, probably a combination of these things, where the APK was causing a lot of headache for them. It probably wasn't generating the kind of advertising that they wanted, and it was creating undue negativity and stress on the development team from the community. And also, it probably was projecting a level of sort of feedback that they weren't ready to handle. You know, for whatever reason, despite the fact that the star creators make videos, I made videos, you know, Forgo, Beast Mode, all these guys make videos about the APK, and we go in the APK, whatever, and we say, you know, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but let's just say, you know, hey guys, we played in the APK and Winter Soldier's tier 3 is really weak. You gotta buff his tier 3, man. He's just not strong enough. You gotta make him stronger. And then the APK comes and goes, the patch notes come and go, the game gets updated, and they didn't do anything. And then we're sitting here like, man, they never listened to the star agents. This is so dumb. So maybe they're like, you know what? You're right. We don't listen to the star agents. We really don't have time. You guys think 4 days or 5 days is a long time. But in terms of, you know, managing a mobile game, a live service game, it's not a long time. And we have tons of other priorities. We're basically, by the time this update's rolling out, we're already working on the next update. So, you know, it's kind of out of our hands at that point. And the community is just getting riled up over this thing that, you know, we can't really fix at this point in time. Maybe if it's a big enough deal to the majority of the community, we can fix it later. But, you know, with 12, you know, with a dozen or 2 dozen star creators saying that, and then their fans just yelling at us because that's what the star creator said, you know, again, I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit here. I'm sort of taking the opposite point of view and sort of trying to see it from the point of view of the devs. I do think that this does sever a link, and it does further reduce the level of communication between the development team on Marvel Future Fight and the player base. I don't really mind not being the one that they communicate with. I think they should just communicate with us more on a general level. So, for example, you know, if looking on the bright side, or being optimistic, being a bit, you know, maybe a bit too optimistic, but whatever. Maybe they are closing this, and then the person who did this, who handled the APK, is instead going to work more closely on generating and translating monthly dev notes. I would honestly gladly trade the APK program for monthly dev notes. I don't know about you, but I would prefer that personally. And then some players would prefer that, and some players would prefer the APK. But I do think that they need to, and they should see this as an opportunity to improve their communication in other ways rather than just getting rid of this. I think just getting rid of this and not having anything else is probably not going to be the best solution in this situation. But I am curious what you have to say. I want to hear from you guys in the community. What do you think of the APK program going away? Does it bother you? Does it not? Did it bother you that I was sort of covering the APK without having it last month? And what are your thoughts on this? Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Oh, and take care.